Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Redskins Talk TV, and this is Dre. Uh, another loss, another frustrating loss, and of course, I'm not too happy about that. It's never easy when you're losing, and it's especially discombobulating when you live here in Texas, like I do, and you have the Cowboys coming off of a victory against the Seattle Seahawks, who just beat us last week. I still say fuck the Cowboys because I can't stand them bitches. I'll be the first to say that. And anyone watching this video that's a Cowboys fan, well, get over it. But let me put more attention back on my team, the Redskins, and fuck them bitches with the star in the helmet. Um, this game right here, again, without much of a run. Now, I know we were going up against the number one rush defense or number two rush defense in the league. Last week we had gone against the number one rush defense. Um, as I've always said, the play of the offensive line is what dictates it. And when you look at, unfortunately, going back to the Seattle Seahawks and the Cowboys, DeMarco Murray eclipsed the 100-yard mark once again. And that's because of strong play from the offensive line. What do we have for an offensive line that will help Alfred Morris be productive? You can look at those two in comparison and understand that we are at a major disadvantage. You're still seeing where defenders are able to shed their blocks because our linemen are not able to get their hands on the defenders and move them. And that's the thing. They're not moving the pocket. And defenders getting into the backfield because Cardinal, they were using a lot of exotic blitzes. I think they sacked Kirk Cousins maybe 2 times. So they really get them to like that. But they had a lot of pressures. And I'll get to Kirk Cousins in a few moments. But Alfred Morris, he's a key cog. As a running back, he's so dynamic, but he's only as good as an offensive line that opens the holes for him. He can do the rest, but it's kind of hard for him to get in that lane when defenders are pushing the offensive lineman into his path, or you have other defenders that are filling the gaps. So Alfred Morris hasn't been able to be productive, but at the same time, he really can't get much going when he's only getting the ball handed to him 13 times like he did in this game. I think he had like 42 yards. So that's a major difference. As far as offense, Deshaun Jackson, he did the damn thing again, got that one long touchdown. So it's the 3rd consecutive game where he's had a long reception for a touchdown. So he's really helping out. Corners and safeties are staying over top of Pierre Garçon, really blanketing him. He doesn't have that over-the-top speed like Deshaun Jackson does. He does have some good speed. He's a stronger player when he gets the ball in his hands. It's just a matter of him being able to get open. Jordan Reed had a pretty decent game. He had like 9 receptions or something like that. So he did pretty well. And like I said in my pregame analysis, one of the things that we can do is flourish on Jordan Reed as a tight end because he is an up-and-coming tight end in the league. I think give him 1 or 2 more seasons, and he's going to be one of those tight ends that are mentioned along the lines of a Rob Gronkowski, things like that, or a Julius Thomas. But you have to be able to get the ball into his hand, which they did. At the same time, there were a lot of plays where Kirk Cousins was looking down receivers, so we had some interceptions. And once again, for all those who were asking for Kirk Cousins, hey, you got it. You got Kirk Cousins. And like I said, it's on during these bad games when you analyze the play of Kirk Cousins, he had some good throws, don't get me wrong. He had some really good throws, especially that touchdown pass to Pierre Garçon and the long touchdown pass to Deshaun Jackson. But in crunch time, when he's trying to make too much happen, he's looking down his receivers while the defenders are sitting on the routes. And a turnover is what's happening. Now, one of the turnovers, one from Andre Roberts, where they said that he fumbled. His knee was clearly down. When you watch the game, the ball was stripped out after his knee contacted, but for some reason, they said that it was a turnover. So that was some bullshit right there, refs. You really fucked us up on that one. Now, when it comes to defense, again, we couldn't get really any pressure on Carson Palmer. I think we sacked him once, twice maybe. But we couldn't really get enough pressure, especially up the middle, because that's where quarterbacks get really jittery. when you have the nose tackle or the two defensive linemen get that push right up the middle, because it forces the lineman into the quarterback's face. And it also allows for the rushes off the edge to come in, especially if they're going to do some sort of stunt. But we really couldn't get much pressure. And Carson Palmer, he was all over the place. Even with that somewhat gimpy shoulder, he was able to make some plays. Larry Fitzgerald, he was making some pretty good catches. A lot of cushion that was given by the corners. And like I said, Michael Floyd and Larry Fitzgerald are big receivers. However, all it takes is a little bit of a jam just to hold them for a few moments. No, I'm not picking my nose, y'all, so chill the fuck out. But there's one play where Larry Fitzgerald caught the ball, and E.J. Biggers, if you've watched a lot of my videos, you'll see where I've said E.J. Biggers is a liability. He had some good plays today, but on that catch from Larry Fitzgerald, E.J. Biggers could have made all the difference as far as with the score had he just tried to bring Fitzgerald down instead of strip the damn ball. So he was getting dragged like a rag doll. And it's one of those highlight reels that will make him look at himself and say, damn, I need to do or up my game. But it's about securing the tackle. Larry Fitzgerald, he's got strong hands. Yeah, sometimes he does put the ball on the ground. I know he did last week. But for someone like that, you're not going to wrestle the ball away from his hands, so you have to think about the tackle. And that's something that E.J. Biggers didn't do. And that score, even if we had lost, it would have been by less of a deficit had E.J. Biggers just gone for the technique, which is to slow Fitzgerald down by getting at his waist, getting his knees, keeping his legs from pumping, allow for another defender to help also bring him down. So all in all, also Arakpo, he had a guaranteed interception come right into his hands, and just a lack of focus and concentration, he dropped the damn ball. Unfortunately, that's one of the things that kind of separates him from Kerrigan. I like Arakpo. I like him a lot. I think that he does well when he's not getting held, but in order to be considered one of the elite linebackers, you have to make those plays. That pass was gift wrapped to him, and unfortunately, he didn't bring it in, because that could have also turned the tide for us. We're a team that's struggling in terms of getting turnovers. I think we probably got like maybe 4 interceptions through the season, and a couple of fumble recoveries. But we did most of that against a shitty team with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But not to take anything away from the Arizona Cardinals, because it was a hard-fought game. We did give them a run for the money, but there were just too many miscues and penalties. Special teams still seems to be a problem, to where we're not making the most of it. We're not getting up the field. Andre Roberts, I really do like him, but there's a lot of juking and jiving on special teams, where just getting up the field, whether someone's going to tackle you, dip your shoulder and run the fucker over. That's what people want to see. You want to get some momentum swaying your way, run over a would-be tackler. Even if he's 30, 40 pounds heavier than you, it can happen and does happen throughout the league. But you got to lower your shoulders. You got to give yourself a chance to get that extra yardage going forward. But whenever you're moving laterally and the guys are coming at you, it's almost like you're sitting still. So frustrating, because where I work, it's more business casual. Otherwise, I would be more inclined to go into work wearing a Redskins shirt, something. I always have my Redskins lanyard. People look at me crazy, but I look at them and dare them to say something, because no matter what, living down here in Texas, it's not even halfway through the season. So for all those who are saying the Cowboys are doing something, yeah, they beat the Seahawks today, and maybe they deserve that win, but I'm not going to give them bitches any credit, because I can't stand their asses. Plus, we all know that they're going to choke more than a hooker trying to go down on John Holmes when it comes to December. So that is a fact. They have a little bit of momentum going, but once they start losing, that's when the ship is going to turn and people are going to start jumping off the bandwagon. But as far as this soliloquy, with this video right here, I'm pretty much done. On to the Titans next. Once again, this is a frustrating loss. I hate losing because we've already suffered one bad season. But as I stated, with Kirk Cousins and everyone that said that Kirk Cousins deserves to be the starting quarterback, he's only got one win, just like he did last season. Enough time has passed to where he should know as far as some of those plays. You can't get on a press conference and say, these are some plays I would like to have taken back. Once the interception is thrown, you can't get it back because you just gave it to the other team. But people wanted this. They wanted RG3 off. And now less and less people, or fewer and fewer people, are asking for Kirk Cousins. They're not even saying bring on Colt McCoy. Some people are with the rumblings. They're actually asking for Robert Griffin III to come back. And as I said in a video a long time ago, he is our starting quarterback. Kirk Cousins, he's just spelling in because he's a backup and he's the next best hope. But a loss is a loss, and this is Kirk Cousins' loss because we had some momentum. But anyway, go ahead and leave your comments for this video. I know this has dragged on a little bit longer than it should have. But to my Redskins family, hail to the Redskins. Peace, motherfuckers.